Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope. Amid all the trouble, the protesting, and the end bad governance, there is hope in Nigeria, and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Again, today, Day 7 of the protest, and we're here to have discussion on what is going on in Nigeria across the streets as we continue to have the peaceful protesters across Nigeria, especially the people in Rivers State and, of course, on the northern part of the country, where youths have converged both in Zamfara to demand justice for the people who are being held at the government house. And of course, we are going to discuss about the $600 million that is on fuel importation, monthly fuel importation that is coming from Wale Edunwe, is the coordinating minister of the economy and finance. And exclusively from Zamfara State, we're talking about a budget of 19.3 billion to purchase kitchen equipment. And then we have 6.1 billion for public schools. That is the height of what we are seeing in Nigeria. And again, in the same Day 7 of the protest, we see that protesters, seeing all of this, has stormed the Zamfara State Government House in Guzo, of course, doing their thing, and of course, doing so many other things that you might not think of. And we are going to bring you the issue of Akpabio, who took about 4 billion naira, 4 billion for constituency projects. It is time to ask what these projects are all about. And we are going to also talk about the NDDC's forensic report suggesting 1.5 billion spending under Akpabio that cannot be found. Oh, so much to discuss, and of course, to have this conversation, I have with me in the studio Mercy and some other well-meaning Nigerians joining us via Zoom.
Good evening, well-meaning Nigerians out there. Thank you for joining us. Yes,
wherever you are joining us from, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that the people know what is happening in Nigeria as at Day 7 of the End Bad Governance protest. Let me start with what is happening in Rivers State, as youths has called for a resignation of Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. The high-level incompetence and political maneuver by the minister, Nyesom Wike, has reached a boiling point as demonstrators gathered in front of the former governor's residence to voice their dissatisfaction with what he's doing to protesters in Abuja. The protesters, predominantly composed of the elderly youths and also concerned citizens, are rallying under the banner of the End Hunger and Bad Government in Nigeria. Their grievances are very clear. They demand an end to the systemic hunger and misgovernance that has plagued the nation. The protesters believe that Wike's continued presence in the federal cabinet is a significant barrier to achieving the necessary reforms for improving the lives of ordinary Nigerians. We are here, according to them, demanding justice and a better future for all, said one of the protesters. Nyesom Wike's tenure as governor of Rivers State was marked by controversy, and now as the FCT minister, he is giving shege to the people who has a constitutional right to protest. Protesters in Port Harcourt is a powerful indication of the dissatisfaction brewing not just in Rivers State but across Nigeria. The call for Wike's resignation signifies a deep-rooted frustration within the current state of governance under his leadership in Abuja. His alleged effort to undermine his successor, Governor Fubara, has only fueled the unrest, with indications of bankrolling disruptive activities to destabilize the current administration. There is news ongoing currently that Wike is pushing Chief Bola Tinubu to further create further unrest by putting more people out there to hijack this very protest. And we see that the constitutional rights of the ordinary citizens are no longer available anywhere in Nigeria. They don't have constitutional right to good food. They don't have constitutional right to good road. They don't even have a constitutional right to breathe. They are demanding that from the National Assembly the last time, and they said allow Nigerians to breathe, but never has Nigerians seen even to breathe. So the constitutional rights of each citizen of Nigeria is way, way far gone, even to breathe.
You know, it's very obvious that Nyesom Wike, I don't know if I'll call him the weapon fashion against the progress of the youths, especially those in Abuja. Nigerians in general, yes, because I don't know what is actually his problem. Nyesom Wike have no good reports ever since he assumed office, all right? So I don't really know. There is nothing encouraging about him, and he just have to step down. For there to be a positive change, all these political leaders, number one, Nyesom Wike, Akpabio, Godswill, all of them have to be dissolved for there to be changed. My
concern is really based on what is happening to the people who are peacefully protesting in Abuja FCT. Now, Nyesom Wike have crafted all manner of both killing people, both at the same time shooting tear gas. Many people are getting sick. Going out there to protest on what is their right. And I asked the court that gave a directive or a judgment that people should only protest inside the Moshood Abiola Stadium. My question is, the constitutional right that Nigerians have to protest, is it a right to be confined in a space only? Maybe they should be told to stay in their houses to protest. Maybe that is the right that the constitution gives Nigerians.
You know, that's the question we should actually ask them. If not that these leaders are corrupt, what else is their problem? All of them are just swimming in the river of corruption.
Let me also remind you, if you recall, the House of Representatives just a few weeks ago said they are going to devote their July salaries to Nigerians because of the hunger, or probably their constituency, as the case might be. But as of July now, having been gone, they all collected their full salary, which is close on 1 million, about 936,979. That is coming from an investigative journalist, Fisayo Soyombo, who revealed that the reps has received their July salary despite pledging to each donate half of 600,000 for their 6 months to fight hunger in Nigeria. You can see all the deceit that is going all around, and they are expecting Nigerians not to exercise their constitutional right to protest.
We all know that that is a lie. In fact, aside from the salary, they must have collected allowances. Sitting, traveling, useless allowances, all just to render Nigerian citizens useless.
And their constituents, the people who are bothered by this hunger, are not even marching to their houses to demand. Let's even take a look at what they all shared, coming that Tinubu shared with all the states in billions that have been shared. I've not seen demand coming from our protesters, though you guys are doing a splendid job. Kudos to you guys. But you need to know that the FAQ has been shared for this very particular month, and we can see billions and billions that are allocated to each of these state governments and local governments. If we look at the case of Abia, it's one of the lowest, about 5.29 billion, and we look at Adamawa at 6.96 billion. But let's travel down to the people who are actually swimming in this very money. We look at the likes of Lagos State that is getting about 26.93 billion, and that is for July, this month that just ended. There's so much money that is going on to the states, but you will still see that the state governments are not even helping to alleviate the poverty in all the states. Billion. Why are we not talking about this? Why are we not bringing it to the forefront? All we keep talking about is at the center what is happening in Abuja. But all the same, let's come back. We have the states of you're doing over 11 billion. Well, so much is happening. Let's get to the protest and what some of us, especially what Tanko has to talk on the issue of the protest and why several Nigerians need to be allowed to protest. Let's take a listen to Yunus Tanko, who said that government is denying the people the right to protest and it is treasonable. Let's start with that.
Make this clear. The protest did not stop, but the people were denied the right to their constitutional right, which is, of course, on its own treasonable. Because when you deny people to perform their constitutional right, you are going against the Constitution. That is, the constitutional provision says that they have a right to protest as long as it will be done within the provision of law. These people have also come out and accused the government of sponsoring thugs, which was captured on camera in Lagos. I saw it, and then nobody did anything against those particular persons who caused mayhem. But the truth about it is that we cannot continue to stifle and deny the people the right to ventilate their anger. The more we do that, we are only aggravating the issues. If you have allowed them to exhaust their 10 days, there will not be any days again for them to take part in any protest. But you, by denying them and strengthening, or what would I use the word, you are aggravating the matter and even threatening them. In this case, what it means is that you are telling them to go back and regroup. Rather than deal with the issues that they raised. Nobody has raised, they have dealt with the issues that they've raised, not a single one, including Mr. President. He has not dealt with one single issue that they raised. And that does not help the matter. We can only advance suggestions that can help ameliorate the matter, the case. But if you continue to deny this youth and telling them what they ought not to do or what they should do, you are only aggravating the matter. Let me make this point clear again. This is democracy. Democracy, as defined, is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. It did not mention any single person. It said by the people, for the people. And that means that if the people who assumedly voted for you are saying this is what their demands are, it's only fair and logical that you, as the leader who they gave to you in trust, listen to them and act according to what they are requesting for. Not for you to do what you want to do as a person, but you are to do what the people want. Once you do that, then you are free.
So we've heard about all of this protest having the right, and of course we share with his opinion on that. And let me quickly get to our people who are on Zoom to also join this very conversation about the rights of the protesters that have been infringed upon by the Tinubu-led government. Joining us to have this discussion right now, let's have Lord Kingsley, who is going to tell us more about what his thoughts on the rights of the citizens that have been denied their rights to protest. And Amnesty International, of course, has given a mark of over 1,000 persons who has been placed under custody and who are protesting peacefully, not the hoodlums. So, Lord K, welcome to Obidient Family TV, joining us at this hour. Please tell us your thoughts on what Yunus Tanko had just mentioned about the rights of the citizen which has been infringed by this government. And of course, it's very obvious, citing Abuja being confined in a space and probably not even the subsidy of air in Nigeria, I think, has been also taken away by Tinubu-led government.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Obedience around the world, everyone in the studio, and my fellow Zoom panelists. Well, to what Mr. Tanko just emphasized on before is the absolute truth. And I mean, by all laws, we all know that protesting against bad government is a fundamental human right that protects everyone under the international human rights instruments. And even the principles of Nigeria also carries that. We all know that freedom of speech and expression is something that everybody has in that country. Freedom of assembly is another one. Right to protest is another one. Right to personal liberty and security is another one. The right to life, right to fair hearing, right from torture and inhuman treatment is another one that everybody in Nigeria should be enjoying. But our government is actually depriving fellow Nigerians of these simple human rights. Okay, when we are talking about rights to freedom of speech and expression, this allows individuals to speak out against injustice, bad government policies, and action without fear of retaliation from anybody, any parasites of the government. But what's happening in Nigeria today? What's happening? You've got the military, you've got the soldiers, you've got the police harassing, shooting tear gas at people for just coming out to say, well, we don't like what's going on, which is also affecting them. But they're out there firing tear gas at, ordinary citizens, harmless citizens. They don't even want them to assemble anywhere. Why is this happening? And whereas under Section 4 of the ordinary fundamental human rights gives Nigeria's citizens all these rights: freedom of assembling, right to protest, right to personal liberty and security. So who is the one now committing this treason? Who is the one committing it? And then you've got the military, I've forgotten his name, Joshua Musa or whatever he's called, coming out on TV to threaten Nigerian citizens. What is going on in our country? What is going on in our land? Is it that lawless that even the government parasites, they don't even understand the law anymore? Is it that bad? Individuals have the right to protest. Citizens have the right to protest peacefully without interference from any state. Protesters should not be at any cost to fear whatever they want to ask from the government. They should not be at any cost of that. They have the right and the freedom to do what they want to do, as long as it's done peacefully, which these guys have actually done. They've come out, but then the police, who are also, another group of Dundees, they are the ones firing tear gas at these people, harassing them. And up to now, we've heard now that the DSS are out there now, arresting people, anywhere and anyhow they feel. Anybody they pick up, the person is gone. Why is this happening? In the UK, as we speak right now, there's massive protest going on there. But we know why that's happening, which is different from what's happening in Nigeria. But you see how the police there, how they handle the citizens. Why is that not happening in Nigeria?
Okay. Do you know that they have placed, they have kind of placed a watch list, according to them, for people they believe in, whether in diaspora or in Nigeria, on a watch list, believing that they are the people sponsoring the protest. That, as a matter of fact, they were threatening the people who are in diaspora that are supporting Nigerians. And I believe and I know that nobody arrested nor threatened Tinubu when he sponsored protests, even while he was in Nigeria, and not minding when he went on exile. But when Bola Tinubu protested, nobody arrested him and nobody put him on any watch list, and that is it. Let's even take a listen to what Yunus Atanko has to say before we come back. Let's just take a listen.
I wonder if Mr. President himself was arrested when he sponsored protests. Nobody touched him. Nobody said anything, and he has not debunked that he never sponsored protests. So if you are now denying the Nigerian people who have been sending and supporting their children and their brothers and sisters back home, and you are threatening them with arrest, then you do not need to call them again to come back home. When you're usually telling them to come back, some of our best brains are outside this country. Some of our best brains are outside this country. And all of the things that they have always asked for is for our country to be better so that they can come and contribute. You talk about technocrats, doctors, surgeons, everything that you businessmen, they are outside the country. They are even living by the minute. Does that mean that we are trying to exercise our people from outside the country? If there are verifiable facts so that there will not be any phantom arrest, because in the case of this nature, there could be phantom arrest and agreement that this particular person or certain people of different extraction or different tribe could be the subject of targets. Could be the subject of target, and that would not be good for us. So I think that particular position that the government is trying to take is another mistake that may aggravate the matter, rather than providing solution to the problem.
Right.
The government has the right to deal with this issue immediately. And that issue will be dealt with if Mr. President can come out and say, ladies and gentlemen, please and please, I know you voted for me as the case may be, but I'm bringing the fuel prices down. The next minute, this night, not tomorrow, you will see demonstration or protest of joy, not the protest of anger.
Okay,
and they'll be praising Mr. President.
So we've had this, and looking at it on the perspective of the people in diaspora, Justice spoke very well concerning how the people in diaspora, we know how diaspora remittances has been helping families survive the economic hardship here. What do you have to say about all of this, especially the mention of the watch list and the sponsoring that they so speak about?
I actually believe that this diaspora watch list that they are trying to emanate is just a waste of time. It's a misplaced priority by the government, just like as they have always done. Because the Nigerian Constitution, particularly in Chapter 4, which covers fundamental human rights, then the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19 and 20, emphasizes that freedom of expression and assembling. Then the African Charter of Human and People's Rights, Article 9, 10, and 11, also covers all this. But then we have a government that doesn't understand anything about these laws, that even the judiciary, they are all playing docile or ignorance to these laws. Right to personal, human liberty is something that we all know about. Protesters should not be arbitrarily, denied or detained or subject to any torture of any kind if their protest is legitimate and if their protest is peaceful. We all know that. But Nigeria, what is happening there? What is happening there? You got the force actually going out there now, arresting people unnecessarily, threatening people unnecessarily. Is that not treasonable before the law? Is that not treasonable before the law? If he wants to pick on the diasporans, that is where he is now treading into fire that will bring down his government. Let him try it. Let him go for it.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's quickly get
the opinion of Mr. Bassi. Mr. Bassi, let me even bring to your attention the fact that, the coordinating minister of the economy and finance has said that there is no full subsidy, that is the PMS subsidy in the budget. But obviously the government, they also said that the federal government is spending over $600 million, $600 million on fuel importation monthly. I don't know how to connect the dots. Can you help me connect this very dot? There is no fuel subsidy in the budget, but the government, the Tinubu's led government, is spending over $600 million on fuel importation monthly, not just this thing, but monthly. Let's take a listen to what the Wale Edun, the Minister of Finance, had to say about this before you say this. And of course, you could join all the other discussions we have concurrently. Let's take a listen to that video.
Subsidy in the budget.
There's no fuel subsidy.
There's no fuel subsidy in the budget. That is the truth. That is the technical fact. We have signs that we are going in the right direction, and what we must be determined to do is to maintain those trends. Those trends will take us to where we want to go. And you've got to, when you say where will we get money from, the Ministry of Petroleum through the NNPC has committed to 2 million barrels a day.
By when?
2 million barrels a day at $80 a barrel takes us out of the woods, not just in the short term, but the medium term, because we will rally around that additional infusion of not just income, but foreign exchange to get the economy going and to attract investors and to bring down the exchange rate, bring down inflation, bring down interest rates. At the overall level, at the macro level and the fundamental level, things are falling into shape. The issue is that at the micro level, there's yet to be a drilling down to where people experience life. So the answer in the short, medium, and long term is for Nigerians to produce, to grow, and to produce, and to harvest, and to process their own food. With the kind of food production program we have, inflation will come down as prices come down. When inflation comes down, exchange rate will stabilize.
Mr. Bassi, I just wanted you to hear this from the coordinating minister of the economy, who is obviously lying to Nigerians about, of course, in as much as they don't have this very full subsidy in the budget, but we do believe and we do know that everybody in the cycle of elite has, or average Nigerian know what is going on about the full subsidy in Nigeria. And again, he said technically, he said the truth, but then he now said technically on a national TV. What are your thoughts on this? And the spending over $600 million US every month for importation of fuel while we are generating the crude from Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this? And of course, on the protest issues.
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. Good evening, studio panelists and Zoom panelists. Good day, Obidient, worldwide. My take on this is that this government is a scam.
Correct.
Right from this onset is a scam. And whoever believes whatever this government is telling them can as well believe the devil. Everything about subsidy in this country has been a scam right from the onset. That they are coming out with figures today, $100 million a month to import fuel. They've not been able to justify what is our fuel consumption daily in this country. Up till this moment, Nigerian government have not been able to tell Nigerians accurately this is what Nigerians are consuming daily. Because if you cannot determine your consumption daily, so how do you arrive at subsidy, the amount you're spending? So everything has been shrouded in secrecy because it's a scam. And it's unfortunate because I remember during the, people always say that all the presidential candidates said they were going to remove subsidy. Yes, Peter Obi did say he was going to remove subsidy, but I think he did say one thing that people have failed to recognize is that he said he was going to audit the system to know what truly is our consumption and different aspects of the industry before it can embark on subsidy. But it's even possible that after this thing, it will be clear that we might not even need to remove subsidy because there was really no subsidy. He did say that. And then today we are seeing some of these things going on. Government keep coming to lie to Nigerians, taking Nigerians for a ride, exhibiting high-level impunity in governance, in the spending of our resources. It's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate that Nigerians are seeing this and they are not speaking up. They are allowing these people to take Nigerians for a ride. All the well-meaning Nigerians who were speaking in 2012, they've kept quiet. None of them is speaking today. And they are allowing these people to drain Nigeria, further sink us into debt by so-called subsidy that never existed. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I want us to know that.
Let me quickly, just come in here. Can you please tell us your take on
this issue of the House of Rep members receiving their salaries despite promising Nigerians to donate 50% for hungry Nigerians? What do you have to say about that? Because the July salaries have been paid and they have all collected the allowances that goes on millions that they are not talking about, but they keep talking about their salaries. They have taken it again and, deceived Nigerians. Why I'm bringing that up, you're talking about the deception that is trailing this very government and all the leaders in Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. Recall when this issue came up, I did said that I don't believe these people. If you could recollect that episode, I did said I never trusted them because you said you're going to forego your 50% of your salary. Who is going to weigh that? Where is that fund going to go into? For us to really know that you have forgot, you've
donated.
Yes, you've donated your 50% salary to the for the vulnerable Nigerians. So this is just a lie. They were just making political statement, and I did said whoever believed them can as well probably doesn't know how Nigerian politicians are. That their yes can never be yes. So it's obvious now, we have seen this played out today, that is now coming out and they are beginning to give various reasons why the money was not deducted and why it is not this thing. Let's just forget about these people and begin to see how we can chart for a new Nigeria.
Okay,
because
but
these people will never represent.
Yeah, but talking about forgetting Nigeria, I don't want you to forget
that your brother Akpabio took 4 billion for constituency project. It is time you guys start asking him what the project is all about.
Yes, that is true. If you look deep into that, the budget is even more than that 4 billion they are actually flaunting. It's more than that. I don't believe it's 4 billion. It's much more than that. So, this is how they have taken Nigerians for granted. They are thinking Nigerians are fools. But I know that this is not going to last for long. It's not going to last for long. No matter how they think Nigerians are, whether now or later, shortly it will happen. Now, back to the issue of human rights violation. And Lord K spoke more about on that, and I don't want to dwell much on that, other than to say that it shouldn't be a surprise to Nigerians that Nigerians' rights are being violated. Nigerians' right has been violated not today. It didn't start today. When the Supreme Court set aside our constitution, that was the beginning of our problem. We should have realized that. So whatever we are seeing play out today did not start today. It was something that was, decided by the judiciary. They set that precedent. When Nigerians were killed in 2020, carrying Nigerian flag, right at the Lekki, Nigeria's constitution was violated. That was a treasonable act by the Nigerian government against her citizens. Today, they are calling the people that are carrying one flag in Kanu state. They are calling them that they are treason, that they are committing treason. For instance, who first committed the treason? It's the Nigerian government that first committed treason against the Nigerians. So let us not begin to jump, look at issues that are not supposed to be looked at. Let us trace back. Where did this start? It all started when Nigerians were killed at Lekki Gate. Innocent Nigerians carrying Nigerian flag, singing the national anthem. They were shot at. They were killed. Yet Nigerians did not see that they committed treason against the constitution and against our citizens. That is when citizenship was violated in this country. So when we begin to see some of these things play out today, we should understand. Thank you so much for the opportunity to intervene.
Let's quickly have the opinion of our own
Reverend Peter. Reverend Peters, quickly, so that we still have Tony on standby. Can you quickly give us your take as Amnesty International says over 1,000 protesters are in prison currently? Can you please make it your contribution short so that we can get Tony on the line, sir?
Well, I just have a little to say about that, because there are so many things that have come up that I even wanted to speak on. I've written as Twitter for some of these things. The Nigeria, even when the amnesty came up, the Nigerian armies and police, they are disputing those figures. They seem to be contesting that it's a lie, and that is not true. Whereas we know that what has happened. Look at it. First, I want to thank the protester. I want to say, God bless you, and you will be fruitful in this journey as we enter into it. Because I cannot understand why the government has gone into the soldiers, has become part and parcel of the federal government. This is a civil matter. Now you cannot see the commissioner, you cannot see the aides, but all you are seeing is the soldier. Look, let me say this message. Let Tinubu, Mr. President, let you send soldiers back to the farm if they are jobless. If they have nothing to do, send them. So after all, we need food. Let them go back to farm. Send them to, but because it looks as if they are jobless. That is what. And the Chief General Christopher, these armies were trained as if there is war. Okay, look Boko Haram there. Look the bodies. They are stopping people. Look, H-men. They are stopping people from going to the farm. Why don't you, since you are trained, you are looking for war, why don't you go after them? Protest that are armed. That is where you come out on the television every day, speaking jargons, talking nonsense, saying to take action. Anybody that can does this are killing the nation? Look at what this commissioner of Rivers State today, that people were the police were there when they were rough, they saw bandit. I mean some of the Russians matador of their journalists, but the police were there. Police refused to intervene, but rather because they thought that them is the protest. They have taken their master AIG, GP or whatever they call it, the Inspector General has taken side with the government, interested in what happened to any other person, but are their enemy. What makes us an enemy? What makes the protester the enemy of the government? Because I have never defended the army. There has never been any time where protesters were being chased. Even in the time of army, they were protesting. And the soldiers, we never see them coming out on the television threatening the life of the protesters because they carry placards. But if somebody were to suffer injustice and injury for protesting, by now Tinubu is supposed not to be a living person because he masterminded so many and he suffered. And after today, when the chieftain of the pension officers came up to say that they have discovered those that are responsible for the sponsor of the, that they are those that they are waiting for them.
All right, thank you so much,
for the contribution. Though we're having hiccups on our network, but all the same, your contribution very well noted, and I believe that every other person out there will understand where you're coming from and your vexation. But let's quickly go to Tony to briefly get his opinion of the constitutional rights of the Nigerian protesters that are being denied by the constant pushing around of the police, chasing protesters everywhere. So, Mr. Tony, welcome to the show. Please briefly tell us your take, your opinion on the issue of the constitutional rights of the protesters being denied by the Tinubu-led administration.
Mr. Kanu, everyone listening to today's program, I say welcome. Well, I think it's a no-brainer. So many people talked inalienable right of every Nigerian to freedom of speech, assembly, and speaking out whenever they feel like it's doing things that are not good for them. So there's no argument, no debate about that. The right of every Nigerian to protest, to demonstrate. As the Reverend just said a while ago, even the military regimes of Babangida own opinion, the administration is going to intimidate, harass, and suppress our constitutional right to free assembly, freedom of speech, so administration. What are they fearful? Where they are unleashing soldiers and the police against peaceful demonstrators. This is quite supposed to be in a democracy, and the government's actions are even worse military regimes. In the it's very to the military and even the police. You have a code of conduct that directs you on how to carry out your duties. And that code of conduct doesn't allow you to shoot innocent people with live ammunition. Not at all. Unless your own life is threatened. And I have not seen from available sources where or has been threatened to make them live ammunition on innocent, unarmed civilians. It's only are we in. I think Lord K just mentioned the demonstration in the U.S. Why is it that they go and they see how things are done? What things do we have in this country? The so-called elite, the so-called educated. We should be conducting ourselves in this manner. Circle commons and ban it and do whatever you want to do with it. We don't allow anybody else to even peep in and see what's going on. You know, it's like everything is cloaked in a what word do I use? In secrecy. No accountability by the government on their activities whatsoever. No accountability. Even if you point out to them certain things that are going on, criminalities that are going on, nothing happens. I was reading a report. The House of Assembly inaugurated an investigative committee on oil and gas downstream. The speaker just dissolved the committee. Why? Because they say he was getting a lot of petitions about corruption within that committee. So our leaders are not even listening to Nigerians. They are not listening. They still continue to do what they've been used to doing. Nigerians are demonstrating about corruption, hunger, and inefficiency of our government. And you are still talking about corruption, bribery. When will this end? And the thing that vexes me so much is that we have, and they even come out on TV going on, and it ends there. There is nothing like organizing constituencies. Test the corruption in this country. It's not mentioning corruption, and they're not helping matters. They're not doing anything. They are doing support this because they have a public platform. People can listen to them. Government can listen to them, but they're not doing it. Everybody's just sitting back. Why? That is not right. How long will this continue? How far will this country go before it's the solution? Because where we are headed to, I don't think anybody can really describe it, but it's not good.
Thank you. Your time is up. And of course, we thank you guys on Zoom.
Contributions have been a very good conversation, having you guys around and talking about the constitutional rights of the protesters that has been severely dealt with in Nigeria. As you know, the police and the military has admitted killing of a young boy, 16 years old boy in Zaria. Before it was a rumor, but as reported by parallel facts, that the military has accepted the fact that they shot and killed a 16 years old boy by mistake. These are the things coming on. I don't know where the reason why the military has to come into the protest. And of course, this very young boy of 16 years old, the dad alleged that, that the troops, the Nigerian army followed him up to the house and killed the young man. But now the military are saying it's by mistake. Well, we'll talk more on that about tomorrow, going on day 8, but all what has happened on day 7 of today, seriously on Zamfara. Let's quickly just get you a recap of Zamfara, because the flags of foreign countries that keeps flying over there, that is the area the DSS needs to investigate and find out. But for the people who are keeping up the peaceful protest, we admire their courage and we continue to support and inspire them to continue going out there to occupy the street until their demands are met. But for those people who are flying the flags of other countries, we don't encourage such. But let's take a listen to the commentary coming from Zamfara.
Gusau Metropolis was this Monday, the 5 of the nationwide hashtag End Bad Governance, taken over by the protesters, with many of them taking to the major roads in the Zamfara state capital to register their dissatisfaction with President Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast, describing the government's action as a joke. They say they are determined to continue with the protest. The protesters were also seen carrying the Russian flag, leaves and placards, and chanting songs in Hausa language saying, Bamwi, change Mukeso, translated as, we are not continuing. Change is what we want. Several vehicles, motorcycles and tricycles plying the road sported leaves signifying that all is not well. Business activities shut down for the fear of looting by hoodlums at the Tuduwada market, where the protesters marched from the Sani Abacha